Hello and welcome to Connect. I'm your host, Randy Shabilo. On today's show, we'll have Persephone Theatre's Executive Director, Breanne Harmon, as well as the Artistic Director, Heather Cant. As always, we'd like to connect with you. Follow us on Facebook at ConnectYXE, catch past interviews on YouTube, email us at connectyxe@gmail.com, or leave a message at 306-665-3796. Persephone Theatre is open once again with a new season. We have the Executive Director, Breanne Harmon, with us here in the studio today. Thanks so much for coming down.
Thank you so much for having me, Randy.
I want to talk about Persephone. You're kind of new to the city and the organization. Let's maybe start with, Breanne, and where did she come from, first of all?
Sure, yeah. I have been in Saskatoon now for coming up on my third year. And I'm from British Columbia originally, Richmond, BC to be exact. So for those wondering, it's right by the airport. And my family and I were looking for an adventure, and then Persephone Theatre appeared. And we thought it was a really great opportunity for us to pick up our family and move to -40 weather from rainforest weather. And it's been a really great adventure, and we're really happy to have relocated here and set up roots here.
So your background then with theatre, that all started in Richmond in that mainland area of BC?
Yeah, it started in Richmond and Vancouver. There's a really robust theatre scene in Vancouver and the surrounding Lower Mainland. And I got my start, as most of us do, in high school, doing theatre. And when I was younger, musical theatre, dance, gymnastics. I have a very fine art-centered family. So we all did art, dancing, visual art, theatre of some sort growing up. And when I was in university, I found stage management. And so did a bit of a pivot with my career and focused on stage management. And I was a stage manager for a decade before making the shift into arts administration, which threw me on this new trajectory, which is how I've ended up as an executive director at Persephone.
It's actually fascinating. I think for any, young people watching that, may have that drive to get involved in local theatre and something can morph into your career. When you look at what Persephone was from the outside looking in, maybe I'll ask you that. Mm-hmm. What did you see about the organization in Saskatoon from your lens?
I saw a really beautiful organization that was in a growth period and a regrowth period. And I really admired the work that Persephone had done from the outside, being a young emerging artist in BC and having a keen eye on the entire country and the work that was happening. I saw some really magical things happening at Persephone, and the organization was at a really pivotal time. And for me, where I was in my career, I was working at Green Thumb Theatre previously in Vancouver, which is a theatre for young audience company that tours nationally and internationally. I thought it was a really great opportunity to take the next step for my career and move into a theater where there were 2 venues in one. And I was really ready to take the next steps into growing with the new organization. And as I said, I was really excited by the work that Persephone has started to undertake, both with the community as well as artistically.
That's a key point that you touch on with the community, because there's a link between what theatre does, and then there's other businesses in the neighborhoods and the citizens. And I love what you've done with incorporating some of the branching out to local restaurants and making an evening, if you will. What do you do with volunteers and things of that nature? You have some paid staff, but you also rely on others.
Yeah, we have a really large group of staff and volunteers who really make the magic happen. So while we do have our permanent staff, we have over 200 volunteers who are just really the heartbeat of our shows. From our 50/50 ticket sellers who, if anyone has ever come to a show at Persephone, you probably know all of them, to our front of house ushers and our volunteers. We have a really wonderful group of really, really dedicated volunteers who pour their heart and soul into the organization. In fact, we have one volunteer who I believe is entering his 44th year of volunteering. And keep in mind, Persephone has just reached its 50th milestone.
That's remarkable, and I think a testament to the organization and our volunteer base that we have as well. I know the 50/50 volunteers are the most expensive friends I have there, but if you're looking at the organization now and You have a building. They were on Rushholme Road, and a magnificent and quaint, intimate theater, but large enough, small enough. There's things that you kind of need, upkeep of maintenance in the whole, other equipment around the theater. What types of projects are you doing now to fundraise or keep it going?
Yeah, so we've been at the Remai Arts Centre in River Landing. We're in our 18th year. And I know some people in the community say it feels like we just moved in there 5 years ago. So, but 2007 is when we entered in and made River Landing our home. And with any building and any capital asset, of course, there's ongoing maintenance. And many people in the community have heard that Persephone is fundraising to replace our roof. So the roof has seen a lot of leaks, incredible pooling of water. In fact, we had kiddie pools up in our fly tower, which is right above the stage, catching all the water so it wouldn't land on the actors, on the set, on the stage, on our most expensive equipment. So an incredibly generous family stepped up and donated $300,000 over a 3-year period, wow. Malcolm and Marilyn Leggett, to help kickstart our capital campaign to replace our entire roof. And to date, we have replaced the fly tower, which is right above the stage, and we still have 2 more phases to go. So we are getting closer, but we're always looking for community support and corporate support to help us realize the dream of a new roof, which doesn't sound like the most fun project or the most attractive project, but at the end of the day, it's such an incredible asset to have our building. And as you spoke on community, we're a community hub in the downtown core. And while, of course, we utilize the space for our own productions, the space is utilized, I would say, about 30 to 40% of the year, if not more, by community members. Summer Players utilizes our space every summer, and we have 25th Street Theatre who uses our space as well, plus a number of other community groups who rely on our space and, of course, rely on a non-leaking roof.
And when you look at the whole picture in the organization, so administratively speaking, there's one component, and we'll talk with Heather later about the artistic side of things, but there must be some gelling between concept of what you want to see, what artistic directors want to see, and what's doable, what's not. How do you manage something like that from your lens?
The really great gift of co-leadership is that meshing of minds, meshing of brains, and supporting each other through all the big decisions. So Heather Kant is our artistic director and my co-leader, and it's always a really fun dance. I think it's fun. I don't know how fun she thinks it is, but it's always a really fun dance to put everything out there, and she says, these are the shows that I want to do, and then I take them in and I budget and I go, okay, these are the shows we can do. So we have it's a big puzzle for us. It's a big jigsaw of what will fit within the budget, what will fit within her vision and her artistic vision and picture for the season. And the fun thing is that I'll speak for Heather. She has, I'd say, about 10 years of programming locked into her brain. So there's just shows cycling through at all times and piecing together. And for her, it's always a fun dance of finding that right balance to satisfy the season, to make sure that we do have a really great offering and variety of programming for everybody. So I think that the dual leadership model is, to me, it's key to a successful organization. And I really love supporting that artistic practice and the artistic vision to really get the artistry out into the community.
What do you hear from a lot of the patrons? And I know I've seen people from out of town come in as well. So obviously it's a draw. What do you hear from people who are attending? Do they kind of say, I want to see more of this, or that was awful? Or, is there a mix of everything for you?
There's absolutely a mix. I laughed when you said, oh, that was awful. I actually love those conversations. Yeah. I love when a patron will come up to myself or Heather and say, you know what, I really didn't like that, but I respect that you did that. And just recognizing that we are a regional theater, and so we have a large mandate and we serve the community. And so that means that we produce a number of different genres of work. Of course, people love comedy, they love musicals, thrillers. We've gotten a lot of requests for a specific thriller, which is Women in Black. And Heather was able to program that for our 51st season. So there's been a lot of exciting feedback around that show. And we love to hear from patrons. We love to hear from the artists in the community as well.
So are your artists that are actors, if they are on stage, are they mostly local, or do you bring them in depending on the show, or look for a mix of children and older people? How does that work?
Yeah, it's a really good mix. So as a regional theater, we service our own community and we also service the national community. So we have a really, really good balance of local talent and really working within our local community with the incredible talent we have here, as well as bringing folks in from across Canada. And that's for our artists, actors on stage, our design teams, some stage management. So our teams are really a diverse offering, from local to non-local.
And would there be a lot of seats available throughout the year? What is the capacity of the theater itself?
So the Relco Radio Hall main stage, it seats 421 seats. And so we have some shows where we sell to capacity. So Miracle on 34th Street, which was our amazing Christmas show this past season, we sold close to capacity for that show, including 6 additional shows we extended due to high demand. So the goal, of course, is to get as many community members into the theater, have that connection, that joy, that gathering, and bring people together, not just in the theater, but to continue those conversations once they leave the theater, once they're in the lobby, go to their cars, maybe head to a local restaurant. Our goal is to bring people in and build connection that lasts beyond the show.
I find that quite fascinating because I have had conversations the next day or the following week, either at lunch or meetings and business meetings and so on, where someone will ask, did you see the show at Persephone? And then invariably it comes up, well, did you see the actor that did this? Oh, I cried when that happened. I laughed when that happened. I think it's a testament to what you and the team do there. And Saskatoon as a whole, or a smaller city, but to have a gem like Persephone is so valuable. Thank you for everything you're doing. If someone did want to reach out to you or get more information about you or the organization, where would they do that?
Well, there's a couple places. Of course, you can go to our website, which is persephonetheatre.org. And we always love people coming into the theater to come and visit. We're located in the Remai Arts Centre, 100 Spadina Crescent East, which is right by the river landing. Come on in. We have a wonderful box office staff who will love to show you around, and some great community offerings.
Breanne, thank you so much. Best of luck in your upcoming season.
Thank you so much, Randy.
We'll be right back, folks.